What's up, Intercultural Communications and also YouTube? By result, we're going to dive right into our quote link of this week. For the first quote, it was on page 230 by Slayton. I'm probably butchering that name. 2011, page 7. Americans have doubled the hours they spend online, exceeding their television time and more than tripling the time they spend reading newspapers or magazines. Most now play video games or computer games regularly, about 13 hours a week on average. By age 21, the average young American has spent at least 3 times as many hours playing video games or computer games than reading. So, for me, that's kind of a sad fact. That is a sad reality. I've seen that in my job. Most kids just want to play video games. They don't really want to talk. They don't want to read. They don't want to learn. Well, they do want to learn. It's a little brash, making assumptions. But the biggest thing is that we are seeing an evolution to what I believe the author was trying to convey as e-netizens, is what he defined them as, which e-netizens are a new generation of individuals from any group wired to the internet via intersecting space. E-netizens have both a local self and a global self. And that's something that we're seeing, because those people that are playing video games, most of the time they're playing it online with other people around the world. But we're not going to get into that too much on our first quote. Again, I feel really bad since I pretty much just destroyed you guys on the last couple. I was messing around too much, and I would put way too much information in on it. So let's get to the second quote. Hopefully I'm hitting both. I hit what I think the author means, e-netizen, what I think it means, which is also e-netizen. I believe that we're seeing a shift in the culture, and I think we're seeing a shift in the children wanting to be more face-to-face interacting and more into a technology or gadget style interaction, or e-netizen identity, mainly for entertainment purposes. That is my own personal opinion. Anyways, the next one is from Comstock, 1993. And he argues that the components of identity reflect and are the result of social interactions with family, friends, peer authorities, and others, as well as from mass media images and values. Indeed, since the mass media influences how people treat us as clusters of demographics and cultural characteristics, social interactions are in part informed by the shared understanding or stereotypes about people that the media provide. So I think he's actually talking about a few things. He can be talking about what I think he's talking about personally is global identity versus local identity, which global identity is made up of individuals who adopt and embrace international practices and values over local practices. In an attempt to replace the preference of local culture, global culture keeps up with the latest trends, technology advances, international programming, and consumer materialism. On the other hand, local identity is made up of the ethnic values, practices, and traditions of the local identity communal group. In a sense, the strengthening of local ties and offers a way to grounding individuals and loyalty in a very fast-paced and much criticized global world. That is on 232. My quote is on 233 and 230. That was my first quote, just in case I didn't mention that. The reason why I believe he is trying to speak of the identity is because of the social interactions. To have an identity, he is saying that we need our family, our friends, our peers, authorities, and other forms of media, which includes now social media. Social media is now grown to the aspect that we can communicate with virtually anyone. There are some countries that we cannot still converse with. There are some individuals that we cannot converse with as well. But I believe that he is trying to say that through that we are going to go into a like-minded realm, and we will try to grow the stereotypes. I do not personally agree with that. I believe that there are some bad eggs out there, and those ones are the loudest. They gain the most attention, and I believe that social media, as well as the mass media, in part, highlight those individuals. We can see through everyone else that kind of, well, you know, we like to try to blend with other people. But I mean, like, just because of some bad people saying some bad things, doing bad things, we're going to focus on the negative imperative more. We're going to be focusing on that negative interaction, just as we have learned in our previous chapters. Other than that, really, I really do think he was trying to convey the aspect of identities and to highlight the fact that we have a changing dynamic from local identity, which is something that we have had as a precursor in all of our societies before, to a more global identity. So, yeah, guys, drop me a comment down below. Tell me what you think. Yeah. Hey, pretty much already made it through. Cheers.